Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Chill Therapist podcast. In today's episode, we are talking about boundaries. Not the cricket ones, but the boundaries we set in our relationship with friends, colleagues, and even family. So let's jump right in. When I was in my first year of engineering, we had a subject called engineering drawing. You might have seen it in movies. An engineer is always shown with a giant drawing sheet and a flask. I was quick with these assignments. I'd finish early because I loved to have free time to relax later. And since I was good at it, I also used to help out my friends whenever they asked. If someone needed an extra sheet, I never said no and I'd do it for them. But here's what happened. Towards the end of the semester, a couple of classmates came to me asking for about doing some 3 to 4 sheets each. I had already finished my own work, so I thought, okay, fine, why not? I'll help them too. I stayed up late and I worked till midnight or around 1 a.m. and I finished everything. So I thought maybe I'll not see them uh, tomorrow, so I'll hand it over to them now itself. I know they had a lot of assignments to do, so they must be awake. That's what I thought. But when I went there, guess what happened? They were just watching movies, and they have been watching movies from uh, I think from 9 p.m. since I last saw them. So I got a pretty upset with that, and I told them I'll not help them again. And that was the first time the concept of boundaries hit me. I realized it's good to be a nice person, but I don't have to say yes to everything. In psychology, boundaries are the invisible lines we draw to protect our energy, time, and emotions. If these boundaries are too rigid or if they don't exist at all, they are considered unhealthy boundaries. There are different types of boundaries, uh, physical, emotional, and time boundaries. Physical boundaries are basically your personal space. So, for example, who should touch you, who you should give hug to, or if even the things that you have, like so someone using your things without asking. So those things come under your physical boundaries. Emotional boundaries are something that protect your um, emotional and mental health. So basically, you may not be ready to observe everyone's problem when you don't have the capacity to do so. So you could be dealing with your own problem and then your friend comes and talks about it, right? So we need to know when to stop or when to ask them to not talk about problems to you or bring new problems to you. Time boundaries are basically balancing your personal and work life. Like so, like wow, I did not do right. So I took my time to help other people, and I was left without any entertainment, right? So what happens if we don't have boundaries is that so first thing that happens is resentment and burnout. So you'll feel drained because you are focusing on other people and other things, and since they are just using you, right? So you'll feel underappreciated and you might feel taken for granted also. The second thing is losing your identity. You keep doing what others want and you forget what you want. So who you are and is this something that you like? And the third thing is toxic dynamics. So without any limits or without any boundaries, relationships can become controlling, manipulative, and also codependent. So you could be the person who is controlling or you could be the person who is getting controlled also. And the fourth important thing is stress and anxiety. So when you keep saying yes to a lot of things, right? So, and you might think that, okay, so I should have said no, but since I said yes, I will do it now. So what happens is you feel yes to the things that you want to say no to, and then you feel guilty. For example, you might not want a hug from someone, a stranger, right? And then maybe because of social pressure or something like that, you might have given a hug. So later you would think that, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Or like in my case, I shouldn't have said yes to too many people asking for assignments, which uh, took a lot of pressure on me. So what happens is like, so you then have a conflict within yourself, and that conflict would turn into guilt, and that guilt will turn into stress, and then every time you see a stranger or every time you try to help someone, you kind of build that anxiety inside you. And the final thing, so this is the ultimate thing that happens, which is damaged relationship. When there are no boundaries, and suddenly when you start to have boundaries, right? So there will be more conflict. And because of the bottled up frustration that you have. So what will happen is you will eventually burst out, and that person might feel bad, and they might feel that you are being uh, not being justifiable, and you are being very silly or something like that, and that will damage the relationship. There are some simple framework to set boundaries. So first is identifying what boundaries that you need to set. Notice who or what makes you feel drained or overloaded or uncomfortable. Next is communicate. Politely express the uncomfortableness that you feel. Right? So for example, I'd love to help, but right now I don't have the bandwidth to do so. Or I prefer a handshake instead. So, and the next thing is stay consistent. At first, people may not take you seriously, but if you keep repeating your boundaries, they should understand and they will understand. So instead of just shaking hands once, right, so you should shake hands every time with that person. Instead of saying one time that I would like to help and no, I can't do it right now, and then the next time you go ahead and help that person. So try saying that again and again. I still don't have the bandwidth to do so, but I would like to help whenever I can. And the last thing is accept the discomfort. Some people will resist at first, but you always help. Why not now? Hey, you hugged that person. Why don't you hug me also? Be kind, but stay firm. You have to repeat yourself, and for that you have to accept the discomfort of doing so. So, friends, when I say be good, do good, but don't overdo it, don't take it in a negative sense. What it really means is set healthy boundaries. In this episode, we explored what boundaries are and why they are so important. In the next episode, we will be talking about shock, trauma, and change. Stay tuned to find out more. Meanwhile, share this episode with your friends and family if you like it. We are available on all podcast platforms. Until then, this is your chill therapist signing off. Take care of your mental health. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye bye.